Берлин. Город, пропитанный историей, с его величественными бульварами и шумными площадями, он был свидетелем взлетов и падений империй. В начале XX века Берлин был маяком прогресса, центром искусства, науки и культуры, привлекавшим блестящие умы со всего мира. Но в тени этого величия зрела тьма, сила, которая должна была поглотить не только Германию, но и весь мир. Как этот город, символ прогресса и просвещения, превратился в сердце одной из самых мрачных глав человечества? Как человек, родившийся в австрийском захолустье, смог подчинить себе целую нацию и развязать войну, которая оставит неизгладимый шрам на ткани истории? Это история о том, как идеология ненависти пустила корни в сердце Европы, как харизма и страх стали инструментами тирании, и как город, некогда бывший символом надежды, превратился в синоним зла. Это история о Гитлере и его Третьем рейхе. Чтобы понять, как зародился этот кошмар, мы должны перенестись в конец XIX века, в маленький австрийский городок Braunau am Inn, где в 1889 году родился Адольф Гитлер. Его детство было омрачено бедностью и семейными неурядицами. Отец, строгий и авторитарный таможенный чиновник, мечтал, чтобы сын пошел по его стопам. Но юный Адольф грезил о карьере художника. Не сумев реализовать свои художественные амбиции, Гитлер переехал в Вену, надеясь найти себя в этом кипящем котле культурной и политической жизни. Но и здесь его ждало разочарование. Он влачил жалкое существование, перебиваясь случайными заработками, и все больше погружался в мир своих собственных обид и разочарований. Именно в этой атмосфере крушения надежд и социального хаоса в душе Гитлера начали формироваться идеи, которые впоследствии приведут к катастрофе. Он с жадностью впитывал националистические и антисемитские настроения, витавшие в воздухе, видя в них объяснение собственных неудач и ответы на вопросы, мучившие его с юности. Переломным моментом в жизни Гитлера стала Первая мировая война. В 1914 году он добровольцем вступил в ряды немецкой армии, надеясь найти в горниле войны смысл жизни и выход для своей кипучей энергии. Он служил связанным на Западном фронте, был дважды ранен и даже награжден Железным крестом за храбрость. Поражение Германии в 1918 году стало для него личной трагедией. Гитлер, как и многие немцы, отказывался верить в военное поражение своей страны. Он считал, что Германию ударили ножом в спину, предали собственные граждане, евреи, коммунисты, либералы. Версальский договор, подписанный в 1919 году, стал для Гитлера символом национального унижения. Тяжелые условия договора, огромные репарации, потери территорий – все это, по мнению Гитлера, было несправедливостью по отношению к Германии. Именно в этот период у Гитлера возникла идея о том, что он – единственный, кто способен вернуть Германии былое величие. В его душе крепло убеждение, что он призван спасти нацию от врагов как внешних, так и внутренних. В хаосе послевоенной Германии идеи Гитлера нашли благодатную почву. Страна лежала в руинах, экономика была подорвана, а общество раздирали политические противоречия. Люди, измученные войной и нищетой, отчаянно искали виноватых в своих бедах и ответы на вопросы о будущем. Именно в этот момент Гитлер вступает на политическую арену. В 1919 году он вступает в немецкую рабочую партию, небольшую группу националистов и антисемитов. Обладая даром красноречия и фанатичной верой в свою правоту, Гитлер быстро становится лидером партии, которая вскоре будет переименована в национал-социалистическую немецкую рабочую партию, более известную как нацистская партия. Нацистская идеология была причудливой смесью национализма, расизма и антисемитизма. В ее основе лежала идея о превосходстве арийской расы и ее праве на мировое господство. Евреи, коммунисты, интеллектуалы, гомосексуалисты – все они были объявлены врагами немецкого народа, ответственными за все беды Германии. Гитлер умело играл на чувствах людей, эксплуатируя их страхи и комплексы. Он обещал им вернуть Германии былое величие, восстановить экономику, покончить с унижением и создать новый миропорядок, в котором Германия займет свое законное место. Для распространения своих идей Гитлер мастерски использовал все доступные средства пропаганды. Массовые митинги, факельные шествия, зажигательные речи, плакаты, листовки, радио – все это работало на создание культа личности фюрера и насаждение нацистской идеологии. Пропаганда нацистов была основана на простых лозунгах, понятных каждому: «Германия превыше всего», «Кровь и почва», «Один народ», «Одна империя», «Один фюрер». Гитлер и его приспешники умело манипулировали фактами, искажали историю, демонизировали врагов и создавали образ врага, с которым нужно бороться любыми средствами. Нацистская пропаганда была обращена ко всем слоям общества, к рабочим, обещая им рабочие места и социальную справедливость. К крестьянам, обещая им землю и защиту от коммунистов. К среднему классу, обещая им порядок и стабильность. К молодежи, обещая им великое будущее в сильной и процветающей Германии. И эта пропаганда работала. С каждым годом ряды нацистской партии росли, особенно среди молодежи, жаждавшей перемен и готовой следовать за сильным лидером, предлагавшим простые решения сложных проблем. Шаг за шагом Гитлер вел Германию к пропасти, используя демократические институты для уничтожения самой демократии. The year is 1933. The Weimar Republic is teetering on the brink. Political turmoil, economic despair, and fear of communist revolution. Into this mix stepped Adolf Hitler. His appointment as Chancellor was calculated. He exploited the system's weaknesses. This was a slow, deliberate takeover. The Reichstag fire remains a mystery. Was it terrorism or a false flag? The Nazis used it to consolidate power. With the Enabling Act, the Weimar Republic ceased to exist. Hitler could enact laws without the Reichstag, nullifying parliamentary democracy. The Weimar Republic, weakened by strife, breathed its last. The Nazis dismantled democratic institutions with chilling speed. Trade unions were abolished, dissent silenced. The press was controlled by Nazi propaganda. Book burnings symbolized the descent into darkness. Flames consumed works, incinerating the idea of a free society. Germany stood transformed. Berlin. The beating heart of a nation reborn, at least in the twisted imagination of Adolf Hitler. No longer content with merely being the capital of Germany, Hitler envisioned a Berlin remade in his own image, a monumental metropolis, a testament to Aryan supremacy, a city that would stand for 1,000 years as the capital of a 1,000-year Reich. To realize this megalomaniacal vision, Hitler enlisted the talents of Albert Speer, his architect of choice. Speer's grandiose plans for the city included colossal structures, wide boulevards designed for military parades, and a gargantuan dome intended to dwarf the dome of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. This was architecture as propaganda, a concrete and steel manifestation of Nazi ambition. Behind this facade of grandeur, however, lurked a far more sinister reality. As Speer's architectural dreams took shape, so too did the machinery of repression and genocide. Within the imposing buildings of the Nazi bureaucracy, plans were being drawn up, orders issued, that would result in the deaths of millions. The Gestapo, the infamous secret police of the Nazi regime, established its headquarters in Berlin. From here, a web of surveillance and terror spread, ensnaring anyone deemed an enemy of the state. Denunciations became commonplace, neighbors informing on neighbors, as fear poisoned society. In clandestine rooms, the architects of the Holocaust were hard at work. Men in suits, meticulously planning mass murder. The Wannsee Conference, a bureaucratic exercise in evil, took place in a Berlin suburb. Concentration camps cast a long shadow over Berlin. Sachsenhausen and Ravensbrück revealed the barbarity beneath the Nazi regime. Berlin, once a center of culture, had become the epicenter of a regime dedicated to hatred and extermination. The Holocaust, a word that chills the very marrow, a word that encompasses unimaginable suffering, a systematic attempt to exterminate an entire people. This genocide, this crime against humanity, was not some spontaneous eruption of violence, but a coldly calculated operation, planned and executed with bureaucratic efficiency. The Nazis, fueled by a toxic ideology of racial hatred, viewed the Jews as a threat to the purity of the Aryan race, a parasitic presence that needed to be eradicated. This dehumanization, this stripping away of basic human dignity, was an essential prerequisite for the horrors that were to follow. From across Europe, Jews were rounded up, stripped of their possessions, herded into cattle cars, and transported to concentration camps like Auschwitz-Birkenau, Treblinka, Sobibor. These were not merely prisons, but death factories, where people were worked to death, shot, gassed, subjected to unimaginable cruelty. The Holocaust defies comprehension. 6 million Jews murdered, entire families wiped out. It was about the destruction of individuals, each with their own story. The Holocaust stands as a stark warning from history. Memorials and museums ensure the memory of the victims' lives on. We must never forget, for the lessons of the Holocaust are as relevant today. Hitler's rise to power had been fueled by the promise of returning Germany to its former glory. He spoke of righting the wrongs of Versailles, of reclaiming lost territories, of expanding the German Lebensraum, living space in the East. He had tasted blood with the annexation of Austria, the Sudetenland, then Czechoslovakia, each time met with little more than a slap on the wrist from the Western powers. His gamble, however, would be Poland. On September 1st, 1939, the Wehrmacht unleashed its Blitzkrieg, a mechanized form of warfare the likes of which the world had never seen. France and Great Britain, finally realizing the danger Hitler posed, declared war on Germany. World War II, a conflict that would consume the globe, had begun. And Berlin, the city Hitler had so meticulously molded into the capital of his Reich, became the nerve center of this war machine. Every order for every panzer division, every directive to the Luftwaffe, every decree outlining the next phase of the Holocaust, all emanated from this city. Hitler's gamble seemed to pay off. The Wehrmacht crushed opposition in Poland, Denmark, Norway, and France. Berlin reveled in triumphs, parades, and newsreels. But Germany fought a war on multiple fronts. The Luftwaffe was not invincible. Operation Barbarossa bogged down in Russian winter. Allied bombing turned Berlin into rubble. Inhabitants huddled in bomb shelters. The writing was on the wall. The Nazi regime crumbled under its own hubris. By 1945, the endgame had arrived. The Red Army, fueled by vengeance and hardened by years of brutal fighting, was closing in on Berlin. The city, once the shining symbol of Nazi power, had become a desperate island fortress defended by a ragtag collection of Wehrmacht soldiers, Volkssturm militia, and even Hitler Youth. Inside the Führerbunker, buried deep beneath the Reich Chancellery, Hitler, the once charismatic leader who had promised his people a 1,000-year Reich, now a shadow of his former self, clung to the delusional belief that Germany could still somehow snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. But reality could no longer be denied. Soviet artillery pounded the city above. Refugees and defeated soldiers alike streamed westward, desperate to escape the advancing Red Army. The air itself was thick with the stench of cordite, smoke, and death. On April 30th, 1945, with Soviet troops just blocks away, Adolf Hitler committed suicide in his bunker, bringing to a close one of the darkest chapters in human history. A week later, on May 8th, Germany formally surrendered, marking the end of the Third Reich and the war in Europe. Berlin, the city that had once embodied the Nazi dream of world domination, now lay in ruins, its streets littered with rubble, its buildings shattered, its people broken. The Nazi regime, built on a foundation of hate, racial supremacy, and unbridled ambition, had left an unimaginable scar on the world, one that would take generations to heal. But amidst the devastation, there was also a glimmer of hope. Germany, once the aggressor, now had the opportunity to confront the sins of its past and rebuild itself as a democratic, peaceful nation. The lessons of the Third Reich, however, would continue to resonate, serving as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power, intolerance, and the seductive allure of extremist ideologies. The Nazi regime crumbled in 1945, but its echoes still reverberate. How could a cultured nation descend into barbarity? The rise of Nazism was gradual, fueled by economic hardship and nationalism. They exploited fear, offering simple solutions and relentless propaganda. The lessons of Nazi Germany are stark warnings for our time. We must be vigilant against extremism and remember the path to tyranny. It's easy to look back at the wreckage of the Third Reich and believe that the German people were somehow uniquely susceptible to the allure of Nazism. But to do so is to ignore the uncomfortable truths that lurk beneath the surface of history. The seeds of hatred and intolerance exist in every society. They are nurtured by economic inequality, political polarization, and a failure to confront our own dark pasts. Yet from the ashes of destruction, a new Germany emerged. A Germany that has confronted its past with honesty and courage. A Germany that has become a beacon of democracy, tolerance, and human rights. The story of Germany's transformation is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It's a story that offers hope even in the face of unimaginable darkness. But the fight against intolerance and extremism is far from over. We must remain vigilant, Ever mindful of the lessons of the past, we must challenge hatred and discrimination wherever we find it, and we must never forget the victims of the Nazi regime. Their memory stands as a powerful reminder of the fragility of peace and the importance of safeguarding our shared humanity. Berlin, once the heart of Hitler's Reich, now stands as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The scars of history are still visible, etched into the city's fabric. The Berlin Wall, a stark reminder of Cold War division. Solemn memorials bear witness to Nazi horrors. But Berlin is more than a repository of memory. It's a city reborn, embracing its past while forging a new identity. The streets now echo with laughter, music, and countless languages. Berlin's transformation is a symbol of hope and renewal. The world today faces immense challenges: climate change, economic inequality, political polarization. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but cities like Berlin show resilience and strength. Berlin's history reminds us that we can shape our destiny. It's a call to action for a just, equitable, and peaceful world. Let us honor the past and build a better future. From the ashes of the Third Reich, a new Germany arose, a Germany committed to atoning for its past and building a better future. The story of Berlin, once the epicenter of Nazi power, now stands as a testament to the enduring human spirit, a beacon of hope in a world still grappling with the legacy of hatred and division. Remember, the past is not merely a collection of dusty old stories. It's a living, breathing entity that continues to shape our present and our future. By understanding the lessons of history, by confronting the darkest chapters of our past, we can hope to create a more just and compassionate world for generations to come.